A week before our wedding, her parents called me late at night and said, "Before you marry her, there's something you should know." So I looked into her past, found the truth, and walked away with the ring still in my pocket. My name is Ethan Walker. I'm 34, and for a long time I thought my life was finally lining up the way I'd hoped. I was engaged to Sophia Miller, my college girlfriend. 3 years together. A month from now, we were supposed to say our vows. Invitations out. Venue locked. My mom couldn't look at Sophia's dress without getting watery eyes. It felt like the hard part of life had passed, and the good part was starting. Then a Tuesday evening changed the shape of everything. I got home late, kicked off my shoes, and scrolled through photos of centerpieces on my phone. The place was quiet. I remember thinking I should eat, then deciding I wasn't hungry. The screen lit up with a call. Miller family. Not Sophia's cell. Their house line. I almost let it ring out. I didn't. I swiped. "Ethan," her dad said. His voice wasn't steady. "We need to talk. It's about Sophia. Before she tells you her version, you should hear this from us." I stood there in the entryway, keys still in my hand. "Is she okay? Did something happen?" A second voice came on. Her mom. "Soft, she's okay. But there's something she should have told you a long time ago. Before you decided to marry her." The room felt different, like the air had thinned. I went out to the small porch and leaned on the rail. "What do you mean?" Her dad took a breath. "She was engaged before. To someone else. It ended badly. Very badly. He didn't walk away cleanly." I stared at the streetlight across from my building. "Engaged?" "No. She told me there wasn't anything serious before me." "She wasn't honest," he said. "It was more than serious. They almost had a wedding. The man's name is Tyler Brooks. We begged her to stay away from him. When it ended, it was chaos. Police. Orders from the court. We thought it was finished. Last week, he reached out again." I pressed the call tighter to my ear without meaning to. "Reached out." Silence. Then her mom again, voice tight. "He knows she's marrying you. And he says she's been talking to him again." I didn't answer right away. I watched a car roll past, headlights sliding along the curb. Little flashes from the last month ran through my head. Sophia, keeping her phone face down. Text she cleared fast. "I'll be late for small reasons." A new edge in her laugh. Like she was bracing for something and didn't want me to ask. I thanked them for telling me. I said I needed a minute. We hung up. I sat on the porch step and opened my photos. The first picture was our engagement shot from the park. The ring looked bright. Her smile looked easy. For the first time, that photo felt like a stranger waving from a window I couldn't see through. I didn't call Sophia that night. I wanted the truth in front of me before I brought it to her. So I did the thing people do when they're scared to hear the answer out loud. I searched. Old tags. Comments. Mutual friends from college. I found a yearbook page. Then a name that kept showing up near hers. Tyler Brooks. His account was mostly locked, but the internet leaves crumbs. A tagged photo from 3 years ago stopped me. Sophia in a white dress. Not a wedding dress, but close, standing beside him. Their hands were linked. Her face had that calm glow people get when they think they can finally breathe. The caption under it read, "Forever starts now." That was the same year she told me she was done with dating and taking time for herself. I closed the app and stared into the dark living room. My phone felt heavy. I drove to her place the next day. The ring was still in my pocket out of habit, not hope. She opened the door with a half smile that faded when she saw my face. "Ethan? What's wrong?" I met her eyes. "Who is Tyler Brooks?" Her skin lost color. She didn't move. Didn't try to dodge. She whispered, "Who told you?" That told me enough. I stepped back. So it's true. Her face went pale, eyes darting away like she was searching for an escape that wasn't there. "Ethan, please," she started. I didn't want to hear excuses. Not yet. Not until I understood how deep this went. "Your parents called me last night," I said quietly. "They told me everything. Or, at least the part you didn't." Her lips parted, but no words came out. I could see the truth written all over her face. She sank onto the couch, pressing her hands together like she was holding on to something fragile. "I was going to tell you. I just didn't know how." "That's the thing, Sophia," I said, voice steady but tired. "You weren't going to tell me. You had months. You just hoped I'd never find out." She shook her head. "It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. The silence between us did most of the talking. Her eyes filled, but I couldn't move toward her. The girl I thought I knew, the one I trusted more than anyone, had just rewritten 3 years of my life with one missing chapter. "I thought you were open with me," I said, stepping back toward the door. "All those nights we talked about our pasts, and you let me think yours was clean. You told me you'd never been in anything serious." "That's not a small lie, Sophia. That's a different story." "I wanted to tell you," she whispered, "but I thought it was behind me." "Then why didn't you act like it?" I asked. "Why all the late nights?" Her breath caught. "Ethan, please." but I was already walking toward the door. I couldn't stand there and let her rewrite what I'd lived. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay on my couch, staring at the ceiling, hearing her parents' voices echo in my head. She's been talking to him again. I tried to convince myself they might be wrong. Maybe there was some misunderstanding. But deep down, I knew better. You don't hide someone like that unless there's something to hide. I opened my laptop, typed her name, his name, their college. I clicked through every tag post I could find. Most were harmless, group photos, class events. Then I saw it. A photo I'd missed before. Sophia, in a white dress, not quite bridal, standing beside a man whose arm wrapped around her like he owned her. His name in the tag, Tyler Brooks. I clicked the caption. Forever starts now #engaged. My heart sank. 3 years ago, at the same time, she told me she was focusing on herself. I sat there staring at the screen, my fingers hovering over the mouse like I could undo what I'd just seen. I couldn't. By morning, I knew I couldn't sit in silence anymore. I drove back to her apartment, parked, and sat for 5 minutes, just breathing. The ring box was still in my jacket pocket. It felt heavier than it ever had. When she opened the door, her eyes were tired, like she hadn't slept either. "Ethan," she said softly. "Please, can we talk?" I nodded. My voice was calm, but my chest was tight. "Tell me the truth. Who is Tyler Brooks?" She blinked, a tear slipping before she could stop it. Then came the question that told me everything. "Who told you?" That was all I needed to hear. I exhaled, long and slow. "So it's real." She closed her eyes. "Yes, but it's not what you think." Maybe not. But it was enough to know. The woman I was supposed to marry had built our future on a story with missing pages. And the worst part? If her family hadn't called, I never would have known. Sophia took a shaky breath and looked at me like she was bracing for impact. "Ethan, please," she said softly. "It's not what you think." I was scared. I wanted to tell you, I did, but I raised a hand, stopping her mid-sentence. "No, you wanted to hide it. You wanted to walk down that aisle with me, believing you'd never been here before." She flinched like the truth itself hurt more than my words. I shook my head slowly. "You were ready to let me promise forever to someone I didn't even fully know." She stepped closer, eyes glassy. "I never meant to lie. I just wanted to forget that part of my life. I thought it was gone." I stepped back. I couldn't let her close the distance. You don't get to erase your past just because it's inconvenient. Not when you're asking someone to build a life with you. The air felt heavy. She didn't argue. She just stood there, tears falling quietly, like she finally understood what she'd done. I walked out before either of us could say more. That night, I didn't close my eyes once. I sat in the living room, replaying every memory, every "I love you," every late-night talk, and asking myself how many of them were missing pieces. Her family's voices echoed in my head. She's been talking to him again. Her words from the porch replayed too. "It's not what you think." But what did I think? I thought I was marrying someone who trusted me. Now, I wasn't sure I knew her at all. By sunrise, I made up my mind. I didn't want excuses. I wanted clarity. Real answers, not apologies rehearsed in the mirror. When I pulled up to her apartment again that morning, she was already by the door, like she knew I'd come. Her eyes were red, her hair pulled back, her expression calm but tired. "Please," she said quietly, "let me explain. No lies. No hiding." I nodded once. She motioned me inside. The place was still. The sunlight through the blinds made lines across the floor. She sat down on the couch, and I stayed standing. Her hands were folded together like she was holding something fragile. "I was 21, she began. "I met Tyler in college. He seemed perfect at first, funny. He wanted to know where I was, who I was with, what I was doing, and I thought that meant he cared." Her voice was soft, but steady now. Then it got worse. He started choosing my friends. My clothes. He'd read my texts. If I argued, he'd yell or break something. I thought saying yes to his proposal would calm him down. She swallowed hard. It didn't. I leaned against the table, arms crossed, listening. She went on. "When I tried to leave, he followed me. Called nonstop. Showed up at my dorm. It got bad enough that my parents stepped in. The police, too. I finally got away. It took months." Her eyes met mine, pleading but tired. "That's the truth, Ethan. That's what I didn't tell you." I stayed quiet for a moment, letting the weight of it settle. Her story didn't sound fake. It sounded like someone still carrying pieces of an old life. But one thing didn't add up. "If all of that's true," I said, "then why did your family tell me he's back? That he's been contacting you? And why didn't you say something before they had to?" She blinked, caught off guard. For a moment, she didn't answer. Then, quietly, "Because I thought I could handle it myself." Sophia rubbed her palms together, eyes fixed on the floor. "When he reached out again, I didn't answer," she said quietly. "I blocked him everywhere I could. But he wouldn't stop. He made fake accounts, sent emails from random addresses. Then last week, He called from a new number. He said he knew about our wedding. Said if I didn't meet him once, just once, he'd show you everything. The pictures, he wanted to destroy what I built. She looked up at me, voice shaking but low. I panicked. I didn't want him anywhere near us. I didn't want you to see that version of me. Weak, scared, trapped. So I met him. Once. In public. I told him to stop. To move on. My jaw tightened. You met him? She nodded. Just once. Nothing else happened. I didn't want to keep anything from you. She trailed off. I didn't want you to think I was lying about who I am now. Her words landed, but they didn't comfort. They stung differently, because in trying to protect me, she'd broken something deeper. I paced slowly, staring at the floor, trying to piece it together. You met him behind my back. You hid an entire engagement. And when he came back into your life, you didn't come to me. You let your parents make that call. She stood, eyes glassy. Ethan, I was protecting you. I turned toward her. No, you were protecting your image. You wanted me to see you as perfect, untouched by the mess. But love isn't spotless, Sophia. It's honest. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I sighed, rubbing the back of my neck. You had the chance to tell me before I found out from someone else. Before I looked through your past like a stranger. Do you know what that feels like? To realize you're the last one in your own story to know the truth. She took a step forward, but I didn't move. There was too much distance that no apology could close. Ethan, I swear I wasn't hiding him because I still cared. I was hiding him because I didn't. I believe that, I said quietly. But that's not the point. You say you didn't want me to see the old you, but the old you'd still be part of you. I could have handled it. I could have understood. What I can't handle is being kept in the dark. She covered her face with her hands, shoulders rising and falling. I ruined this, didn't I? I didn't answer. The silence did. Finally, I walked to the door. The air in the room felt heavy, like we'd both been holding our breath for too long. I turned once more before leaving. You don't build a marriage on half-truths, I said softly. If you trusted me from the start, we could have faced it together. But now, I don't even know what's real. Her lips parted, like she wanted to say something, anything, to fix it. But nothing came out. As I reached the door, she spoke, voice barely audible. He won't stop. I paused. What? Her eyes lifted, red from crying. Tyler, he won't stop. I thought she meant her fear, her regret, the mess of emotions left behind. I didn't realize she meant something far more literal, and that I was about to find out exactly how right she was. For a day or two, I tried to convince myself it was over. That walking away was the clean break both of us needed. I returned the ring to its box, pushed it into the back of a drawer, and focused on work, errands, anything that didn't make me think of her. But the quiet didn't last. 2 mornings later, I woke up to a notification on Instagram from an account I didn't recognize. No profile picture. No posts. Just one message. You think she told you everything? Attached was a single photo. I opened it, and my chest tightened instantly. It was Sophia, standing outside a coffee shop downtown, face turned toward a man I recognized immediately, Tyler Brooks. Same haircut, same sharp jawline from the old photos. They weren't hugging, just talking, but close. Too close. Below the photo was a screenshot. Sophia, I can't do this anymore. Tyler, you owe me one conversation. Sophia, fine. One. Then we're done. The timestamp was from last week. She hadn't lied about meeting him, but she hadn't told me either, not until her family forced her hand. And now, I was getting pieces of her truth from strangers online. I sat there for a long time, phone in hand, staring at the message. I wasn't angry the way I thought I'd be. It was something quieter. A kind of sadness that seeps in when you realize the person you love is still fighting a battle you didn't even know existed. That afternoon, I drove to her apartment one last time. No ring, no speech prepared. Just questions that needed to be said out loud. She opened the door before I could knock twice. Her face told me she already knew why I was there. No makeup, just tired eyes that looked like they hadn't seen peace in days. I got a message, I said, holding up my phone. From someone who thinks I don't know everything. And they're right. I didn't. She nodded slowly, like she'd been waiting for this. I figured he'd do that. He's been sending things to everyone. My family. Old friends. You were next. I stepped inside. Sophia, why didn't you tell me earlier? Why let me find out from people who don't even know me? She sank into a chair, voice quiet. Because I thought I could fix it before it reached you. I didn't want you dragged into it. I didn't want our life to start with a mess I caused years ago. I stayed standing. You were never supposed to fix it alone. That's the point. That's what trust is for. She looked up, tears gathering, but not falling. I was trying to fix my past. I didn't realize it was breaking my future. The room went still. That one line, simple, honest, said more than any excuse could. We talked for a while after that, but most of it didn't matter. The truth was out. The love was still there, but it couldn't hold the weight of what she'd kept buried. In the end, I told her what I'd already decided in my heart. I can't go through with the wedding. Not like this. Not when we're still patching holes that shouldn't exist. She didn't argue. She just nodded, eyes glistening. I never lied about loving you, she said quietly. I just lied about who I used to be. There wasn't anything left to say. We stood there surrounded by the pieces of a life we'd almost built. Flowers, envelopes, half-packed boxes. She walked me to the door, and for the first time, we didn't reach for each other. As I stepped out, I realized something I'll never forget. You can forgive a broken heart, but you can't marry a broken truth. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.